All right, so if you're anything like me, you probably felt a pit in your stomach the first time you sat down to make calls. You probably hesitate, procrastinate, and even just refuse to do it altogether. Here's the truth though. Your fear of making calls, everything that you want to accomplish is on the other side of that fear. So, my name's Eric. I'm a realtor here in Brazos Valley, Texas. I'm currently in the aggressively growing stage of my career. My first full year, just for reference, I sold 10 units in historically difficult time to sell real estate in 2024. Today I'm going to show you exactly how to get over that fear of cold calling and how you can leverage that as a massive tool to outperform your competitors, because most people refuse to do it. So let's get into it. So like most realtors, I think I got into the business very ambitious. I had massive goals. And despite that, I mean, the fear of failure and the fear of just sitting down and making the calls kept me from achieving those goals early on, I would say, in my career. I understood and accepted the fact that I was in a sales industry, and that for whatever reason, real estate sales, you're selling a service, but it seems to be the only sales industry I'm aware of that, like, prospecting is a dirty word. Like, people are like, he's doing what? Making calls. Like, it seems almost frowned upon. I think non-prospecting agents are I don't know what word to use. Intimidated came to mind, but it almost, when they see an agent working their ass off making the calls, it almost like makes them feel bad about themselves. So that's a whole other tangent. But I'd get into the office. I knew, like, I have to make the calls. If I'm going to do what I say I want, production wise, I have to make the calls. But I would get into the office, I'd stare at my phone, and I was just paralyzed by fear. That's not a unique story, I wouldn't say. I wouldn't say that's something that only I dealt with and no one else did. That would be kind of ridiculous and short-sighted to think. So, over 87% of realtors fell out of the industry within a year or two. And I think if less people had that fear of rejection and they just jumped on the calls, like, I am of the belief and have seen in my own business that it's the quickest thing to a paycheck, right? It's the quickest thing to taking a listing. It's the quickest thing to generating a client, full stop. And I think the reason, like, the vast majority of those agents that fail out, they're not making any money. Like, even if it's a lot more fun when you're making money, right? When you're taking listings, when you're closing deals, it's a lot more fun. So this is probably a story that you are familiar with if you're watching this video, and I'm going to help you rewrite that story today the same way I did it in my own business. So here's the plan. The first thing I think you have to do is shift your mindset around it. So I like to redefine kind of what a cold call is, because people are like, oh, I'm bothering them. I'm a sleazy salesperson. They're going to, like, cuss me out, call me names my mama didn't give me. As if that's a big deal, but people are scared of it. You have to view it as you're serving people. You're providing a service to people, a service that is very invaluable to a lot of people. A quote that I always think of is, known is better than best. So you can be the best agent in your MLS, but if you have no clients, then, subpar agents that could not provide the service that you could, or refuse to provide the service that you do or could, are servicing those clients. So you are serving them at a higher level just by reaching out to them, being like, hey, I exist. Because if you're not doing enough business, not enough people know who you are. So that's where it starts, shifting your mindset around the idea of cold calling. Step 2, you got to have a script. So prepare your script is step 2. I think some of the fear around it is like, what do I say? And honestly, I think like the whole I don't know what to say argument is an excuse, right? I mean, the first time I dialed a FSBO, I didn't know what to say. I was like, I'm just gonna like, make it up as I go. And it was like the worst call in recorded history. I was really, really bad. But that being said, there are no shortage of cold calling real estate scripts on the internet. I've kind of, over the years, I've developed the one that I use. Quite frankly, if you shoot me an email, I can send it over to you, whatever. But yeah, I mean, you got Ricky Carruth's script, you got Brandon Mulrenin, you got, Jeremy Miner's stuff. There's a lot of ways, by the way, if I'm going to recommend anybody, it would be them, as far as scripting goes. But honestly, like, the best script in the world won't work unless you're calling and using it. The worst script in the world will work if the agent is like making 100 calls a day, right? So I think that's a lie we tell ourselves. They're like, oh, as soon as I know what to say, I'll make the calls. And then you get the script, you know what to say, and then you don't make the fucking calls. So, but it is an important part. Like, you should have a script ready, and you should know it like the back of your hand. Okay, so this is kind of more of this is a mindset thing too. But I look at cold calling as sorting gumballs. So people talk about dealing with massive amounts of rejection. I don't really see it that way. Like, if you call somebody and they say, I'm not interested, great. That's great. Because now you know, hey, I can just get off the phone and call someone else. Yeah, they're not wasting your time. I think it's a they're doing me a favor by telling me that, hey, listen, I'm not interested. No matter how rude they say it, I don't give a fuck. Like, cool, get off the phone. So it's like sorting gumballs. If you have a big jar of red gumballs and you're looking for a blue one, say it's 1,000 gumballs in that jar, but you know there's a blue one in there, and you get the blue one and you earn $10,000 from getting that blue gumball. You're going to pour through all them red gumballs. You're going to throw them in the garbage, get that blue gumball, and you just made $10,000. Well, this isn't any different, guys. If you get rejected, like for me, I know 90 contacts, roughly, results in a listing taken, okay? So my job is to get 89 no's, and then there's my blue gumball. I took a listing, and I made my commission. I made about $7,000 by getting told no 89 times, right? Your conversions will be different, of course, but the better your skills get, the better your conversions become. So yeah, if you told me, like, if I talk to 90 people a week, 90 contacts a week, and that equals a listing, we could talk about list to sell ratio and stuff, but that's the potential for $7,000 a week. That's a listing every week on average, right? Some listings I'll take some weeks I take 2 or 3. Some weeks I don't take any, right? But just on average. All right. So the next thing you gotta kind of enact, I call this exposure therapy. So the other things were kind of mindset things. The script is like a tactical thing. Exposure therapy for me is like the more times you put yourself in a specific uncomfortable situation or expose yourself to it, the less uncomfortable it becomes. Like the first cold call I ever made, I literally thought my heart was going to fall out of my chest. And now I do it 5 to 6 days a week for, hours. And like, it's more boring than anything now. I'm like, oh, God, I don't do this shit today. Hey, like it's not a scary thing anymore because of the exposure of, going on like 16 months straight of doing this. So I'm a big fan of what I call exposure therapy. It's like, if you're a dude watching this, like you're, junior high school, you want to talk to girls, but you're fucking awful at it. Like eventually you get good at doing it because like you have to. Like you're like, I want to talk to girls or other dudes, whatever, it doesn't matter. But you're like not good at it until you are, because you exposed yourself to an uncomfortable situation. This is no different. And like, if your aspirations is making $500,000, $600,000, the only thing between you and that is thousands upon thousands of phone calls. So I know, like, for me, that's the aspiration, right? A few years down the line, I want to do that. So let's just suck at this long enough to be good at it, right? So that was kind of my mindset going in, and still is. Like, I don't have the highest skills in the world, the best skill. I'm not Jeremy Minor, right? But like, I'm pretty good. If I do something for 16 months straight, I'll better be above average. So yeah, and that's all because of exposure therapy. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Once I committed to this, like, everything changed for me. 3 weeks in from like cold calling, I had taken my first listing. You fast forward at the end of my first full year, I had taken 22 listings, closed on 10 transactions. I rolled some into this year, and I had a few expire on me. It's nature of the beast, right? And this can be your story too. So, you can take massive action and rip off the Band-Aid, go all in, and achieve anything I've done quicker than I've done it, because I drug my feet. Like, if you're a brand new agent, you just, day one, you're like, I don't know shit, but I'm going to jump on the phones and build my business. You'll be way ahead of the agents that know absolutely everything that just refuse to make the calls. You'll be way ahead of them. So if you got some value out of this, like and subscribe for more content like it. If you are a new or struggling agent and you're interested in partnering with me, the link for that will be in the description below. Till next time.